You're listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Commercial!
Break for 30 seconds.
Commercial!
You're now listening to BaaD Radio.
Good morning and welcome to BaaD Radio. BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is a show about local businesses and business networking. We are a live show and you can listen to us on 105.5 FM, 660 AM, or listen to us online at floridamanradio.com. You also can find us on the iHeartRadio app. So there's like absolutely no reason not to find us, if you know what I mean. And I'm your host, Angela Smarito, and in studio with me right now we have DJ Heather, the producer.
Good morning.
Hey, I know this morning started off a little bit rough, but
I think it was a time change.
Yeah, no, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen because that leads me to my next one. Emily's not quite here yet.
I thought about messaging her.
Oh, I have. But the thing is, I mean, I knew there was going to be at least one or two of us that got it wrong. This morning, I woke up and I panicked because I knew my daughter had to go to work and she was still in bed. And I'm like, Anna! And she was like, I still have a whole hour. And I was like, oh, okay.
So it was you, not Anna.
Yes, it was me. All right, so Melissa Jacob, BaaD Radio's videographer, is in the house. Hey, lady. She's going to wave over there. Say hi. Striking Brand has been producing our weekly YouTube videos for BaaD Radio, which you can find on baadradio.com. And if you're looking for some excellent video or photography work, you have to check out Melissa's website, which is strikingbrand.com. The video portion of BaaD Radio is powered by Orlando Spine Studio. Dr. James Bowles is an outstanding chiropractor and is ready to get you adjusted. It's 11500 University Boulevard, number 103, and that is in Orlando at 32817. That's over in the UCF area. All right, so we have a couple more boss babes in studio with us today. Don't get me wrong, I love all my guests, but I really, really love having a studio full of just power women.
Got it.
It just makes me super happy. So please welcome Dr. Perri Dumbacher.
Perri Dumbacher, yeah.
Yep. Global team builder with Rodan and Fields.
Woohoo.
Yeah, and she's also a doctor, but we're going to get into that a little bit. So do you like for people to call you Dr. Perri or Dr.? I mean,
a lot of people call me Dr. Perri because Dr. Dumbacher is hard to say.
I like Dr. Perri.
Yeah,
though.
it's all good, Dr. Perri.
Is Perri short for something?
Nope, I was named after my uncle.
Okay. No, I love it.
I think I was going to be Perri whether I was a male or female.
So it's Perri Weather. Oh, Perri Weather. It was okay. Gotcha. I was like, because Perri Weather would be really cute too.
That would be good.
I like it.
Whether I was a male or female, it was Perri.
Oh, well, that's actually really sweet, and it's unique. I don't know if I've ever met a Perri before. Next to her, I would like to introduce attorney Kristine Tucker with Coughlin's Law.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. And we had that conversation because she's like, did you ever see the movie Cocktail? And I was like, Coughlin's Law. Because I asked her the proper way to say it. And I was like, that's it. Cocktail was one of my favorite movies. I think it was like, I can't remember. I was early high school or middle school. I can't remember, but it's a great movie.
I've never heard of it.
Huh?
I've never heard of it.
It's a Tom Cruise one. So
It's fun. It's fun.
And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Premier Couples Superstore. Cut out the middleman and go straight to the source. Premier Couples Superstore has everything from sexy bedroom outfits, toys, games, love oils, and everything in between. So you can visit them at premiercouples.net Premier Couples Superstore, because couples that play together stay together. And on a second note, Liberty Property Inspections. They specialize in home and commercial building inspections, environmental inspections, roof certifications, and pool inspections. They can also save you a lot of money on a wind mitigation, so you need to call them at 407-739-5795, or you can visit them at libertypropertyinspections.net. All right, so Emily actually is back in the house today. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to give a huge shout out to Artistic Beauty, Kazoo Creative, and Angela Keen's hair and makeup. All right, so Emily made it, so yay! I hope those headphones are okay.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
It'll make it work. I was hoping in an applause this week. Thank you.
No, this morning I woke up in a panic because Anna hadn't got up yet, and I knew she opened today. So I was like, Anna. But she was like, Ma, I have an hour. I was like,
well, I know. So that was the problem. So I started doing more things, and then I looked at two different clocks, and I knew Jamie had changed one of them. Look at that bird.
It's pretty. Sorry.
We have wildlife outside the studio.
And that one's pink.
And it has a weird bill.
It's got a pink spoon bill.
Oh, look at that. Heather coming in with our wildlife
And
feature
sorry,
today.
it's so hot in here. We don't know what's up with the AC. It's just the whole thing's under construction.
That's fine. We live in Florida. We're all
you
kind
look
of used to
beautiful.
it.
How about that?
Thank you.
But we're already at your section.
All right, I'm here. I'm ready. So last week you wanted to talk about superfoods.
Yes.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So superfoods. So what do you think about them, or what do you?
I mean, when I think of a superfood, I think of something that just like is like an
Super
overall
healthy.
balance. You know.
Not ice cream, Heather.
High antioxidant levels, tons of antioxidants.
Yeah, good. So there are some benefits to superfoods, but superfood is actually a marketing term. And
Is it really?
They originally made it for bananas, and when they started in the early mid 1900s, they started marketing bananas. So it was a term like farmers used to just start marketing different vegetables and or fruits. And so when you can say that something is a superfood, you can have a super price tag on it, and it would cause more sales. When there were there started to be health campaigns, just like with cereal. Like cereal is one of the worst things that anybody can eat, and it's made of corn and grains and stuff that are totally processed, lots of sugar. But it was something that Kellogg's created it, and so they had to market it. So what then became the best meal of the day to have was breakfast. So a lot of times, if you follow the money in anything, right?
So are you telling me that Kellogg's invented that breakfast is the most important meal of the day?
Yes, it was all just a marketing scam. Because
you know what? My world is blown.
So Dr. Kellogg was actually a doctor in a mental health facility, and they were giving patients porridge and cereal, and they created a dry, version that would be easy to add milk or water to and feed mental health patients. So then they said we could sell this to the rest of, the population, and we could call it breakfast. Well, breakfast wasn't a, big thing at the time, so they had to inform people that healthy people ate breakfast.
Okay. I don't know what to think about this.
Angela's just sitting here struck.
So superfoods is a marketing term.
So it originally was. But now what are superfoods? So I'm going to talk about, so they're nutrient dense, what we should, if we're thinking about like consuming things to get more bang for your buck, right? Which is how you should try to structure all of your food that you eat, right? What can I get every day so that I can be healthier, so I can perform better, so I can think better, right? So I can be in a better mood and have all the support that we need to go out and do our life. So that's how we should be setting up our day. And then there are things, I guess that if you go out of your way and you're going to put extras in, that's what I would consider a superfood. So they're nutrient dense, they're full of vitamins and minerals, they have essential amino acids and fatty acids. That means our body can't make them ourselves, so we should go get those things and bring those into our diets. They are super bioavailable, so some plants, fruits, veggies, things, they have vitamin and mineral content, but it doesn't mean we can always unlock it and use it. Okay. So there's differences there. And they don't cause any inflammation. So there are actually, foods that are plants, vegetables, and fruits that cause some people inflammation. So a superfood should cause no one inflammation. And maybe you've heard the term nightshade vegetables. So, or fruits.
I've heard of nightshades.
Yeah. People with arthritis, especially, or high inflammatory levels can suffer from eating tomatoes, eggplants, peppers. Yeah. And so
Tom Brady doesn't eat nightshades.
Yeah. It's really crazy that we think of those things as healthy foods, but for some people, they can just flare you up. Right. So that wouldn't be a superfood, but most people would think of a pepper as like really nutrient dense. There's so many different colors of them. When you think about adding colors to your plate and making your plate look like the rainbow, right? This can it can get tricky. It's hard, but don't get discouraged if you're listening and you're like, gosh, what can I eat?
Well, I see, if you Google it, you'll see so many different lists of superfoods and very they don't really match. None of them match.
Right, exactly. So I'm gonna give you 5 fake ones first, and then we'll do 5 real ones. So the first,
I feel like she's gonna blow my mind again. I'm like, my whole childhood was just a lie.
I ate all that cereal. So number 1 is whole grains. So the term whole grains is just super. It's like the biggest scam ever. When we are searching for something to eat, don't look for whole grains. Like they don't usually have fiber. They've been processed. They take the fiber out. They add sugar. They add fortified vitamins, or they fortify them with synthetic vitamins, and they're just not good for you. A lot of people have allergies to wheat products anyway, and they tear up the lining of our gut. So number 2 is dark chocolate. Some people think like dark chocolate is so good. All right, most of it's been really processed. It might have some magnesium properties, but eat it as a treat. Don't eat it as like this is doing something for me.
But I mean, is dark chocolate at least a little bit better than milk chocolate?
Yes, and like when you get like 85, 90% cacao rather than just like the milk chocolate Halloween candy, right? You're doing a little better. Don't eat it thinking, I'm doing so good this week. All right, kale. Kale is a garnish. It should not be going into your mouth.
Really?
No I love it.
Yeah. So
I'm going to continue eating kale.
Okay,
and ice
so
cream.
they say it has a lot of vitamin A. Kale actually doesn't have any vitamin A. It has beta carotene. Some of the population can convert beta carotene to vitamin A.
What about iron?
A lot of people can't. So kale also has a lot of chemicals on it that don't easily come off.
Depends on where you get it from.
Yes. So it does depend, but there are still not as many phytonutrients and things as they say it does, and there's a lot of research that's coming out about kale.
I think it tastes terrible.
I love it, and I get mine from Laura's Family Mart.
Okay, all right.
I know there's
So number 4 is honey. All right, everyone thinks it's the healthy sugar. Guys, sugar is sugar, and if you have a problem with insulin and trying to regulate your blood sugar, most of it is mixed with corn syrup. People sometimes take it for their allergies, thinking that if you are getting it from a region where the bees are, pollinating and things and
That's a lie.
giving, so it's usually
Raw,
at least a
local.
season behind. Mm-hmm. So it's not happening in the season where your allergies are flaring up, and every year things are different. So don't just take spoonfuls of it thinking, you're helping yourself. Pomegranate is just not, people will take it in a juice because pomegranates are really messy. They splash and go everywhere. So people will, look for a juice, and that's just straight sugar with no fiber, and spiking your blood sugar is going to.
I don't like pomegranate either, so I'm good. The dark chocolate, though, that's one. Ugh.
The 5 I got. Let me know if these blow your mind. We'll go through them really quick. Eggs with the yolk. So when they are organic, when they are pasture raised, when they're eating things from the ground, bugs, worms, snakes, they process, make the yolk really good for us. Sardines with the skin and the bones.
Nope.
Yes. Look up the nutritional value. It will blow your mind. It will be better than anything you're putting in your body.
It will never, ever,
They
ever,
also
ever
feed
go.
on algae, so like other fish, we don't have to worry about the mercury. I know. So we're talking superfoods, right? You're not running to the store like, I'm going to get this stuff. Liver is the next one. So everybody's faces. So good for you. I can't personally eat it, so I take it in a freeze-dried pill form.
Right.
So it's really good for us. It's good for our liver, and our liver is our fat-burning organ and responsible for so many processes in our body. So we've got to, give it nutrients. Nutritional yeast is one of my absolute favorites. It's got a full amino acid profile protein in it.
Is it a food?
Yeah, you put it, it tastes like cheese. They even call it the vegan cheese. It can go on lots of different things, and it's got fiber, it's got protein, and it's got B vitamins that help you stay calm right throughout the day. And then dandelion root is my last favorite. Dandelions can live through anything. Yes, put it on your ice cream. It'll be good for you, Heather. But dandelion roots survive. Dandelion survives anything in the wild, and when things survive out in the wild, they have lots of antioxidants properties that help us survive and do things better. So that's my list. 5 fake superfoods, 5 real superfoods.
It just amazing.
Go grab them.
Yep. I'm blown away, but thank you for that. All right, we're going to go to break right now, and when we get back, we are going to talk to a global team builder with Rodan and Field, so stay tuned.
Florida Man Radio.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And we are back. And just a reminder, you can call or text in at any time to 321-339-1055. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Impact Electric of Orlando, who focuses on residential and commercial electrical work. Zach and his team focus on doing things right the first time to ensure that you, your family, and your home are safe. Everyone needs to know a good electrician that you can trust, and that is absolutely Impact Electric of Orlando. The number there is 407-747-0874, or visit them at impactelectric.com. Also want to thank Andrew's Law PA and Sheepdog Promotional Products. All right, so before we went to break, I said that we are going to talk to the global team builder for Rodan and Fields, and here she is, Dr. Perri Dumbacher.
Hey, how are you, Angela?
Very good. I love Perri. She sent me a 7-page script on what we're going to go over today.
Ready.
I was like, I looked at it. I was like, all right, then.
Better than, I don't know what to say.
Better than, I'm just going to.
I have a lot to share.
It's better than I'm just going to wing it. So first and foremost, please introduce yourself and like your, I want to talk about your day profession. Yeah, okay. It's not for long, but this gives credibility.
Yeah, actually, I'm a family physician. I've been a family physician for 30 years. Mm-hmm. Thank goodness for Rodan Fields. I don't have to look my age.
Yes. See, like the little plug there. Yeah. That was good.
And I work in Oviedo. That's where my practice is. Mm-hmm. And I've been a Rodan Fields consultant for 12 years.
Okay. So tell everybody, what is Rodan Fields?
Rodan Fields is a dermatology-grade skincare brand. It's made by the same two doctors that created Proactive Solution.
And I think that's also huge credibility right there.
Huge. So two dermatologists trained at Stanford created Proactive. They wanted to give dermatology-grade skincare to the masses, to everyone without a visit to the dermatologist. That's why they created it.
So on that, though, there's like so many different lines of skincare. I mean, so the stuff that we buy at Ulta and things like that, that's not.
No, this is dermatology grade. And I've never, as a physician, I've never found anything more effective. And I can access prescription grade products and non-prescription. I've not found anything as effective as Rodan Fields.
Yeah. And that's, like I said, that's why we entertained the conversation that we did, because you have the proactive part and then the fact that you're a doctor. And so so I want you to tell everybody that quick story that you told me about why Rodan and Fields went to a direct marketing type of format.
Absolutely. It's really important because they didn't intend to make a direct marketing company. These products were put into high-end retail, and they were partnered with Estee Lauder. So they actually were number 1 in Nordstrom for 5 years in a row. They were number 1 or 2 in all the high-end stores like Macy's, Neiman Marcus, and Bloomingdale's. In 2007, they made an unprecedented move, and they moved out of retail into the direct sales channel because they knew the future marketing was not in retail. The future marketing was e-commerce. What are we doing now, right? Mm-hmm. E-commerce. So it's getting the word out to people without a retail brick and mortar store. And they knew that was the future marketing. But they could have chosen anything in e-commerce they wanted to. Right. But they chose direct sales for a specific reason. They wanted to empower people, women and a few good men.
Is there men?
There are a few good men. We call them our few good men. Mm-hmm. But they wanted to empower us to create another stream of income from home. Basically empower the customers or the consumers to actually be the brand reps.
Mm-hmm. Well, because the way that I look at it too is that I find that to be very smart, because if you are buying the products and using the products yourself, that's what in radio world we call that's an endorsement.
Absolutely.
And so you have the products. You want to talk about the products first, or you want to talk about the opportunity first?
Well, let's talk about the opportunity, because they were brilliant for doing what they did. Mm-hmm. In less than 10 years, Rodan Fields became a $1 billion brand, which is huge to be a $1 billion brand. And they're the number one, I don't know if you knew this, but the number 1 premium skincare brand in all of North America. That's a huge endorsement.
See, I did not know that, and that's why I'm a little bit kind of in shock, because I don't know why I didn't know that.
Well, the reason you didn't know it is because that even though we're the number 1 premium, we're educating. It's all good.
You didn't have to answer that.
Let's go back to the cereal and the breakfast. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but you're not alone. Actually, even though we're the #1 premium skincare brand, there's only a 37% brand awareness. That means that 2/3 of women in America have never heard of Rodan Fields.
That's huge.
So you're not alone. You're just in the 2/3. But that creates a huge opportunity.
Yeah, huge
opportunity. And then just 2 weeks ago, Rodan Fields released a brand new category, Rodan Fields hair care, which is huge. Hair care is a $14 billion industry just in the United States alone, expected to grow 30% in the next 5 years. So Rodan Fields skincare, still a huge market. Rodan Fields hair care is a brand new market. So that's why I'm so excited about the opportunity, because this is ground floor. So I really feel like some people say, well, if I only got in when, if I only could be first, well, this is their opportunity to be first, honestly.
All right, so everybody get on the horn right now.
Yep.
Start
Call
calling.
me, 407-731-1734. I will help you out.
Yes, you will. Perry's favorite thing to me is, can you have 10 or 15 minutes to chat? It's always 10 or 15 minutes. It's never 10 or 15 because we like start chatting.
Because we chat. Because we're girls. We have a lot to talk about.
I am actually so Rodan Fields was in just skincare for how many years before they've decided to do hair just now?
Just now, well, the Rodan Fields launched into retail in 2005. 2002. They were there for 5 years, 2002 to 2007. 2007, they pulled out and launched this company in 2008. So, I don't know, do the math. Now we're doing hair care.
Yeah, no. The reason I say that is because the fact that they became such experts in that category before they're going on to the next.
Absolutely. And the pipeline is huge. We have a huge research and development facility in Berkeley, California, and the pipeline of products is huge. But they're always dermatology grade. They're always designed and specifically handpicked by Dr. Rodan and Dr. Fields. And I would love to talk products because I love to talk products.
Yeah, I want to talk about like you mentioned the eyelash. Was it the eyelash?
Eyelash. Yes.
So there's a lot of stuff I want to learn about this. So
absolutely.
All right, let's go, girl.
Okay, so Rodan Fields is, like I said, a billion-dollar brand just by itself as skincare. So let's start there, because they created dermatology-grade products that address skin concerns and solve a problem. It's a problem-focused, brand. So they created them as regimens. So a lot of people aren't familiar with regimens. Are you familiar with regimens before Rodan Fields?
Well, I've been looking for one, and so I'm very happy right now.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason a regimen is important is that it's addressing the problem from multiple different angles. So the right ingredient and the right formula and the right order is going to give you results. So they created regimens that address the most common skin concerns, like Redefine. It addresses fine lines, wrinkles, loss of firmness.
That's the one I've started.
Yes, it's awesome. That's mine too. And Reverse is for sun damage and anything hyperpigmented. So even really tough melasma, anything. And we live in Florida. There's sun. We have estrogen. They combine. They make hyperpigmentation. So Reverse is great for us Floridians. Unblemished is for adult hormonal acne. Very different than teen acne. Spotless is for teen acne, but adult hormonal acne is a whole cycle, and you have to treat it. So that addresses and arrests the cycle of acne. And then Soothe for sensitive, red, irritated skin like eczema, rosacea, psoriasis. So they've addressed the most common skin concerns in a regimen. And I love how they made it so simple, because it doesn't have to be difficult. It's color coded, it's numbered.
Yeah,
it's for busy
1,
people.
2, 3,
Just
3
like
a.m., 3
Proactive.
p.m.
That was how Proactive was.
You can't get it wrong.
Did you use Proactive? Have you? I'm not familiar.
I had before. Yeah.
I know that it's been very successful.
I used it in high school. I had perfect skin.
There you go.
Awesome.
That was in the 90s.
You helped make them billionaires the first time. And they
helped me get the nickname Noxzema Girl.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Rodan and Dr. Fields, they're power women, right? They created $2 billion brands. How many people do you know that have created
them on the show?
$2 billion?
Can you hook me up with that?
I'll try. But they created Proactive, and they didn't invite us on that venture, but it became a $9 billion brand. And then they created Rodan Fields, which they did invite us to participate in, and it's become a $1 billion brand. And now they're releasing Rodan Fields hair care, destined to be another $1 billion brand. I mean, these are power women to the max. But really, there's a lot of people ask, like, what's the secret? Why does Rodan Fields work so well? And there's no secret ingredient, but the secret is the philosophy. It's what we're talking about, multi-med therapy, layering active ingredients, so one after the other. So you've got the right ingredient, the right formula, and the right order. And that's what really gives you, that's why you see pictures of Rodan Fields before and after all over social media. That's why people are so proud to say, look at my results. This is my 1 month results, or this is my 2 week result, because they're super excited with their results.
Well, I'm also was very happy with the price point.
Absolutely. It's extremely affordable.
Yes.
For a dermatology-grade product, it's about a third of anything on the market.
Absolutely.
And you asked me about Lash Boost. I don't want to forget to tell you about Lash Boost.
Okay.
It launched in 2016. It's the #1 lash serum in the entire country. And then Rodan Fields Hair Care, just so you know, because there are a lot of people that really care, and they should, about what goes on their hair. It addresses the scalp, energizes the scalp. It's free of parabens, free of sulfates, free of dyes. It's vegan, it's gluten-free.
Nice.
I mean, they checked all the boxes with Rodan Fields Hair Care as well.
So it's one of those ones when you look at the ingredients on the back, it says 3 things. Maybe more than 3.
Maybe more than 3, but it's extremely
Not
effective.
Colorful,
but it
not
doesn't
like
have
super
all that
smelly.
other stuff. Exactly.
So that is that portion of it. Now there's makeup as well, right?
There's Radiant Defense, which is more than makeup. It actually treats your skin all day while you're wearing it, but it protects you from the sun with SPF, and it protects you from the blue light of the computer.
Wow.
So I would love to give you guys more information. And so
You still have a minute, girl.
I do. Okay, I'll take a minute. If you want more information about how to be a customer or a consultant, please reach out to me directly, 407-731-1734. Just text me, because this month it's free for our preferred customer loyalty program. Plus, if you say that BaaD Radio is how you found out about Rodan Fields, reach out to me directly, and you can actually become a consultant, a brand rep for Rodan Fields for $45. Normally it's $75, but it's $45 if you mention BaaD Radio.
And I've decided to do that.
Nice.
So I'm on board.
You go, girl.
I've got my first set, and so I've started using it, and so far so good. I mean, last night Tom told me that I was glowing, and I was like, I'm like, you are getting brownie points for that, buddy. So so Angela's on board too, and I'm excited. So, all right, I know that went so fast, right?
It is.
That's why the show's going to 2 hours next year. So we'll have you on again.
Absolutely.
All right, so we are going to go to break, but before we go to break, I want you guys to ask yourself, what is the difference between a will and a trust? And why do we need to have them? All right, so think about that, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to BaaD Radio, brought to you by Premier Couple Superstore, because a couple that plays together stays together.
And we are back. I just have to say real quick, I love like my intro to the show, and I love like the rejoins and everything like that. It's like part of my soul now, especially this song right here, Susie and the Banshees. I just love it. All right, so you can call or text us at any time to 321-339-1055. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Ground Up Property Services. Servicing your sprinkler system is probably one of the most overlooked maintenance of your home, but it's so important. Check out Ground Up Property Services Sprinkler System Service Program. That was a mouthful, and I did just say it nice and smoothly. You can check them out at groundupinc.com or call 407-468-4295. I would also like to thank Four Seasons AC, Artistic Beauty, and 33 Tanning and Micro Spa with locations in Altamont Springs and Longwood. All right, so before the break, I talked about wills and trust. So I'd like to introduce Kristine Tucker with Coughlin's Law.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm very good. Super happy to have you here. I know this was kind of quick.
I know, but it's fun.
Yeah, we did a one-to-one. I was like, hey, you want to be on the show? She's like, sure. I was like, that's. There's a gentleman that's in. He's looking at doing the show, and he almost sent me like a questionnaire of like everything about it, and I was like, okay, can you just go baadradio.com and check it all out there?
Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it.
So. Before I really got into radio, I didn't realize that there were so many branches of law. So what really made you decide to get into what is this law's branch called?
It would be like estate planning is pretty much the general. And what happened is I went back to school later than most people. 27, right? And I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I was like, I'm too old for that. Like 27, I was too old. Whatever.
I know, right?
So I know. Now I'm like, 27, that's a baby. So I went to undergrad. I figured I'd be a paralegal, right? I'd try that out. And my first job was in an office that did estate planning and probate.
Okay.
And I had taken the class, and I was like, I love every bit of this, every bit. So from that point on, I was a paralegal for about 10 years before law school. And I was like, you know what? Might as well go to law school. What the heck?
That's just, I don't know how many people are just like, I don't know. It's
I was like, what the heck? Might as well do it.
What you're going to have for dinner tonight.
Right. So, and I've been practicing this area of law ever since. And I do. I love it. Some days are hard. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. There are days I get in my car and I cry on the way home.
Oh,
and other days I'm like,
in radio, I do too. Trust me.
Yeah.
And Emily, I know you do. She's over there going, oh, don't even get me started. All right, so you have a passion for it.
I do.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your firm, and I really want to, like I said, I do really want to answer that question of what's a will and what's a trust and why do we need them. But first, let's talk about Coughlin's Law.
Okay. Well, my law partner is my husband, Joe Coughlin, which is backstory on the name of the firm. When we met in law school, we started dating shortly after, and we both worked at different firms. Larger firms, smaller firms, it all depended. And it was the same, the billable hour, the whole to-do, all the stuff, the culture that just isn't us, right? So we'd come home and we'd be like, Joe'd say, I want to retire, I want to open a bar, and I want to name it Coughlin's Law. I want to do it.
Can you get a bartender who looks like Tom Cruise?
Right. Well, depends on when we open it and what he looks like at the time. But anyway, so, we both kind of got the itch to do it, and it takes a little bit to decide to go out on your own.
Oh, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, so we're sitting there, we're like, what do we call the firm? What do we call the firm? I was like, why don't we call it Coughlin's Law?
I think
it was
brilliant.
Like fantastic. He's Coughlin, and it's law. Let's do it.
That works.
So that's what we did.
Emily, there's a part of the movie where this guy, his name's Coughlin. It's Coughlin, and he has these things that he recites off, and he calls it Coughlin's Law. So throughout the whole movie, he
it's
refers
like
to it.
One of them, and I don't remember them all verbatim, but it's like if you say something about a woman anywhere in the world, she'll hear you. Stuff like that. We firm's pretty casual. Like we own suits, we have suits, we go to court in suits. But if you come in, you're going to usually see us in jeans. We don't like the stuffy, and we decided. That's why we did this.
Well, that's the brilliance of having your own business.
It is.
You can do what you want.
It is. And, not only that, but some of the things we're talking about are so, heavy.
Yeah.
Right? They're heavy.
Lighten it up a little bit.
So, you don't want to come in and see me all stuffy while you're telling me about, every bit of your family dynamic and, every penny you have and, I'm going to die. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
No.
Then you have to worry about, your poker face, too. They say something, you're just like, oh, really?
Right. So instead, it's a little bit more like, hey, just, come, we're going to talk about some heavy stuff. I know you're not going to want to. I don't, don't plan on you dying. This isn't the plan. Don't do it tomorrow.
All right. So why would somebody come see you?
There's a lot of reasons. And I'm going to start with the worst. Well, not the worst reason, but the worst situation, right? The worst situation for you and for me is when I get that call on, let's say, Monday afternoon, and you're telling me that your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your husband, your wife, your kid found out that they're sick and they're going to die, eminently die. And you need me to go to the hospital and talk to them to see, one, if they have the ability, if they have the mental ability to do an estate plan.
But the reason they need one is so that people know what to do with their stuff.
People know what to do with their stuff.
And it doesn't get caught up in the legal system.
Right. So, those are the worst calls because people don't want to do it. No one wants to see me.
I don't know. Yeah, Tom and I just don't. We always just I don't want to talk about
it. Nobody ever does. And no offense to dentists, but I'm like the dentist of lawyers.
Yeah.
You don't want to come to me.
She's going to get a bunch of
calls
and
from leave your family
dentists,
with just such they're going to have to deal with your death, and then they're also going to deal with all your crap and whatever you left them.
Right. So it's all the emotion.
If you don't want to talk about it too bad, it's part of adulting.
Right. So, that's one of the biggest reasons why that, and it's not just the will and trust, and I know we're going to talk about that, but there's other documents too that are really, really important while you're alive, and people neglect those a lot. So certain things like power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney.
Do you think it's because they don't know about it because of the cost of it, or they just don't want to deal with it?
I think it's a combination. I think nobody wants to deal with it, right? I am the queen of doom and gloom. Nobody wants to deal with that.
Oh, but you're so cheerful and your hair's really pretty.
I thank you. I try. And sometimes it's the cost. It doesn't seem like it's an important thing. It's like, why am I paying money for these pieces of paper? They don't mean anything to me now.
It's kind of like life insurance, too.
Exactly. It's exactly like life insurance. I see it usually takes a period of time for people to kind of wrap their mind around it. So I have people talk to me, next week that won't call me again to do it for like 6 months.
I know that BNI has been a huge component in me and our Tom and I adulting, because it's really brought a lot of stuff to the front, and then it's also brought me to people that I know I can trust that are going to make the right decisions for me. So, thank you, BNI. It cost me a lot of money,
but it's worth it, right?
Oh yeah,
it's worth
I don't
it.
care. All right, so come to you, and we can put our situation out there, because like I approached her because Tom and I do not have a will or a trust, and so we sat down and we talked about I'm like, what's the difference between will and trust, and really let's everybody know what is the difference really and why.
All right, so the difference is a will is going to have to go through probate. No matter what, it's going to have to go through probate.
And what is probate?
Probate is when the probate court, the probate judge, there's a procedure, right? And it depends on how much the value of your property is. So there's one that's a little shorter. And when I say a little shorter, I'm finding that it's taking I'd say from 2 to 5 months. Or there's one that's longer that they allow up to a year, but I've seen those take a few years. And what happens in that process is, so let's say I have a checking account and I have a house and I have a will and that's it. Well, what's going to happen is when you die, the bank finds out, they're going to freeze that bank account. Now you have a house with a mortgage, the family can't access the money. You're not going to be able to pay your bills, and you're not going to be able to pay your bills for about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
and
it happened
everything's
to my
locked
friend
up.
recently with a family member, and they were like scrounging to pay the mortgage. The whole family was,
because the bank account got frozen.
Right. And they hadn't paid. They were really sick. It was parents of one of the aunts or something, and so they were older. They were really sick. They hadn't paid for months. Their house was almost in foreclosure, so they had to back pay.
Yeah,
it was, and then they couldn't even sell it. Like, 'cause the market was so high, you think they could just sell it now, make all the money, pay everything.
Nobody has authority until they have authority. You don't have authority until the court says you do.
And then you have to.
And then another family member moved in, just said, "Well, I'm moving in here."
Oh.
And then they had to try to evict them because there was nothing that said this is what's going to happen to our stuff. He said, "Well, they were my family too, so this house is mine until it sells."
Yep.
It was a mess. It was so horrible.
It's. I could tell you horror stories. We don't
that's
have that much
probably-
time.
yeah, that's probably
That's mild.
surfacing,
That's that's like no big deal.
Well, what I really wanted is because I'm like, just make it simple. I'm like, I just want to know that Anna and Aiden get everything split down the middle if something happens to Tom and I. That's really what my overall objective was.
So you didn't talk about a trust yet.
Well, and that's what we're going to get to, right? So because whether you need a will or a trust all depends on your situation. So if you have a situation where you have, people never think they have assets, right? Because you ignore a lot of what you have. I have a house, but it still has a mortgage. I have a car, but I'm still making payments. I have,
you
retirement.
still own that equity.
Right. I have retirement funds, but I'm not going to get those till later. So what the difference between a will and a trust, the major difference, is that a trust does not go through probate. So the administration time for it is the difference between possibly a week or possibly months to years, right?
That's a huge difference.
It is. And the other thing it does is if you have minors that get any kind of assets, not only are you going to have to do probate, but you're going to have to go through guardianship, and that's expensive. Where if you do a trust, you can already dictate this person's going to be in charge, this is what's going to happen, here's how I all want it to go. And on top of it, like with a probate and a guardianship, that child's going to get however much money it is at 18 on their 18th birthday.
Right. No, I'm so glad that I talked to you because I didn't know any of this stuff. I mean, I was just like, I thought a will was just a one-page document that I sign that says everybody gets something 50-50.
Yeah, and
it's never that simple, huh?
It's not. I try to make it simple. Like, so a lot of times, let's say, here's what you pay attention to. The rest of it, it's all the boilerplate stuff, and I want to make sure nothing bad happens.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay, so like you said, the process now is that you've sent me the information, and so I'm going to review it, and then what happens next? So Tom and I sit down with you, and we kind of go through all the details of it.
Yeah, because we had the initial conversation. So you guys are starting to think about different questions you might not have even thought of before.
Right.
We're going to talk about it. Once we have a good idea as to who you want in place and the questions are answered, I'll do a draft of it, send it to you. We'll talk about it. You might change some things. You might love it. You might say, you know what, I don't understand this. Let's talk about it again. Once they're good and ready to go, we sign it and we're done.
And so where does the trust get filed?
That was the exact question I was about to ask.
With wills and trusts as well. So oftentimes I give you the choice, right? I can keep them, but I don't charge you rent for them. So I keep them for safekeeping. Everybody knows where they are. Or you can take them with you.
Yeah.
If you take them with you.
Why isn't there a universal site? Because you hear like people die and we don't know where their will or trust is, right? Why isn't there a universal site like the IRS has everybody's S corps and LLCs?
That's a good question. And the reason for that is you could always, as long as you still have your mind, you can change it.
Right.
So if you change it next week,
but
you filed
why can't
one,
you just have access, just like I have access to my corporation? I could change it to an LLC.
Right.
Like I'm not asking you why you haven't made one.
Right.
I don't think that
it's just as silly, right?
Because they're the site.
Yeah.
You could create the site.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I don't like that idea at all.
But it's so weird. Why you can have all your bank account stuff, you can have everything, your mortgage stuff online.
One, it's also really private. Two, if you don't sign the documents properly, they don't count. So there's statutes.
But you would have to get it done and then
it for free.
But like
you don't charge rent,
right?
Like lawyers,
we're getting
could
the
have
1 minute.
access to it.
We're getting the 1 minute in the whole show.
That went quick.
I know.
I'm so
All
sorry.
right. So Perri, real quick, tell everybody. I hate it when this happens and we just run out of time, but we're gonna pick it up. So give everybody your contact information, Perri.
Okay, Perri Dumbacher, 407-731-1734. Text or call for Rodana Fields.
And you can get in touch with me too, because I have all of her information.
Yes.
And I'm
Get
so
in touch
sorry
with
we had
Angela.
to cut
It's okay.
you off.
It's
I
all
know.
right. It's all right. So for me, Kristine Tucker, Coglin's Law, 407-440-1911.
And Miss Emily.
GoGet'emCoach.com.
Yes, and then I am Angela, and you can get all the information about BaaD Radio on BaaDradio.com. So you guys have a fantastic week, and we will see you next Sunday.